Hey guys, Corey from NCB here, bringing you another locals feature match. Today we have another post-blazing one for you, with DoomZ going up against Kewl. Kewl here will be starting off with an activation of the field spell and then using the extra normal the field spell gives them to normal summon the Rico, and then that will using its effect to search Rotary. On resolution of the search of Rotary, I'm electing to activate the Full Loss, as I do believe I have a Troll in hand as well, so I was fishing for an Ash there. And then I would have chained the Troll if he did do that, but the Full was successful. Synchro Summon of the Trackmaker now coming down, using its effect to search as well as the Rotary effect as Chainlink 1. So searching with the Trackmaker first, probably going to be adding a Kewl Synchro, and then the Rotary will be Chainlink 2, looking at my hand, and then adding another card. So I think the Trackmaker is actually adding the mix, and then the Rotary will be adding the Kewl Synchro. So this being one of the first few locals after the Blazing Dominion set, my opponent is still brushing up on the DoomZ card specifically, so he was just asking a few clarifying questions, and now he's normal summoning the mix with his regular normal summon now. Searching for the Q. Now using the field spell now to tribute summon the mix off the field to search for another copy of the Rotary from deck to hand. No doubt now using the Rotary effect, revealing the Q to do a third extra normal, or second extra normal, the third normal summon of the turn, summoning the Q, then Q will be special summoning the mix from the graveyard. Secret summoning into the remix, allowing me to draw another card off the Full Loss. Unfortunately forgetting to activate the Q effect there to see the top deck and stack it, and he's just realized that there as well, so a bit unfortunate they're not seeing what I drew. But he sets one and then passes, and now I'm thinking in the draw phase. Starting to activate a Full Loss here in the draw phase, saving the second four that I did have in my hand for my own turn, as he could limit his commitment into the card on his turn, so I thought I'd get more value if I used it on mine. Now using the Fallen here, targeting the remix, just forcing that out. I actually did at the time think that was an RS, so I may have mistaken the artwork and just got mixed up between the two synchros, but still forcing out the remix early can be quite good here. So he summoned back the Rico, and the Rico added the clip from deck to hand, as well as the adding the Q from the graveyard to hand as well from the remix. So him just showing the three cards that I know in hand, being the Rotary, Q, and the clip. Activating the Raiders now from the hand. Using its effect now, which will destroy a DoomZ card in my hand or field to add or special summon a DoomZ monster. He is chaining the Kewl Synchro to the activation and not the effect, so he's planning on most likely using the Rico on field with another tuner in hand to make, I would assume, RS, so he's going to make it with the mix he just searched, and then now he'll use the Rico effect to destroy the Raiders before I get a chance to activate its effect to search or special. Raiders has another effect when it's destroyed. You can only use each of it once per turn, so you have to choose which one, but I've chosen to use the effect when it's destroyed to pop a monster on the field, so I decided to destroy the RS. Just little interactions like that that you might not be aware of as a Kewl player, or any kind of player going against the DoomZ cards, can help benefit the DoomZ player, so my opponent here just learning a lot of the niche interactions like that. So the normal summon effect of the Amouth here being Ash Blossomed, and then as a follow-up extender I'm now using the Terminus, which is sending the DoomZ Power Patron Pendulum monster, the Gepredo, which is adding the Vidalum. On the activation of the Vidalum here, we see a clip being used to summon itself, and now using itself and the Trackmaker to go into the Loudness War. And my opponent here actually just commenting, he's like, I really don't know what your deck does. So yeah, just not being too familiar with the cards you're versing can also hinder the ceiling of the Kewl deck, as a lot of it is information based, so him just learning a lot of the effects here will definitely help in his future matches. So resolving the clip now, which was used as Synchro Material, banishing the Gruer from my deck, as this is a random one, as opposed to Crackle, which gets to pick, and then he's returning the Amouth to my hand with the Trackmaker's effect when it was used as Synchro Material. Summoning the Gepredo from the graveyard now using the Vidalum's scale effect, and then the Vidalum, when it goes to face up extra deck, gets to add a Power Patron card. So I could add either the field spell here, another copy of the Geppetto that's already on the field, or potentially the DoomZ Power Patron as well, if I have some way of getting it onto the field or destroying it in my hand to get an extra search. Looks like I might be eyeing the Geppetto, just another copy to force out the Loudness War. Which in hindsight was probably just a bit overkill, as I have a Geppetto on the field which can then go into the Power Patron Jupiter, which could probably do the same thing, and then it could also just search a card as well once it uses that effect. So on the activation of this scale here, he is using the Loudness War, probably going to copy the Rico. No, he's going to copy the Rotary actually, to look at my hand and search. So seeing 2 Duels there, Super Poly, the Amalfi that he bounced back, and a Drastia. Destroying the Amalfi in my hand and the Geppetto in the scale to then destroy the Loudness War on the field, and then using its effect to search when it goes to face up extra deck to add a DoomZ Change, which was also responded to by a Full Loss. And so my opponent no longer controls any monsters. Actually, he does have the field spell there, so the Full Loss was unfortunately a illegal activation there, but we both didn't catch that. I'm not too sure if it mattered too much, but yeah, so that card unfortunately would not have actually been able to be activated with the field spell still being on the field. So now I destroy the Geppetto on the field now, special summoning the Drastia from my hand, equipping the DoomZ from the deck. See what kind of extension I might have here before committing to a battle phase. So going for the DoomZ Change first here, as the Drastia effect that it's gaining from the DoomZ, I can now chain that as well to pop the Change, which can add back from the graveyard. So I think the plan here would be to destroy the DoomZ Trap, yep, which is what I'm doing now. And then in a new chain, the Change will add the DoomZ Trap back to my hand as Chainlink 1, and then I'll use the Trap as Chainlink 2 when it's destroyed to equip a DoomZ monster as an equip spell to a monster on my side of the field, or one monster face up actually. So equipping the Power Patron DoomZ here, just to get extra follow up, because I haven't gone through that just yet, so when that gets destroyed either this turn or next turn I will be able to search an additional card. Setting 2 cards now, most likely the Super Poly we saw earlier from the Rotary, as well as the searched DoomZ Mistaken Arrest Trap as well. We do see another Full Loss here being used in the end phase as I try to rank up the Drastia to have the trap live for his draw phase. So actually being double important here, that's the field spell is on the field, so both these Fulls actually would not be able to resolve. So my opponent just getting 2 free cards there unfortunately, but we'll see if they matter. And now the DoomZ Power Patron is searching in the graveyard as it was destroyed by, at least what I thought at the time was destroyed by Game Mechanic, but it should have actually been equipped to attach to the Drastias as well with the DoomZ. But I made a mistake there with thinking that the Drastia doesn't equip, only equips the DoomZ, but equips everything that's equipped to it, which was both the DoomZ Power Patron and the DoomZ. There's some sequencing error there. Could have waited for my opponent's turn, use DoomZ to blow it up and then search and then rank up on his turn, avoiding the draws as well from the Full Loss. Normal summon of Kewl now in my opponent's main phase, using its effect to special summon from the hand, deck or graveyard. Looks like he has his eyes on the graveyard, probably wants to summon an RS just to try and check any of my back row. Hear me asking if there's anything on res. I'm just going to shotgun this Super Poly now, just to remove both bodies from the field. The normal summon of the Kewl was an additional normal summon as well, so he still has access to his regular normal summon. So Rotary is now revealing another Rotary in hand, summoning the Rotary now with the extra normal summon that effect gave it, and then on the summon of that I'm chaining the Fallen in Virtuous targeting the Rotary to destroy, and then he's chaining a KTS, which then I'm chaining the DoomZ Mistaken Arrest, so my opponent can't add any cards from deck to hand besides by drawing them. So now the regular normal summon of the Rotary coming down, so the third normal summon of the turn. As the Kewl deck seems to do, it seems to just normal summon out the wazoo. Attributing that now with the field spell, special summoning the Rico. Rico will now be adding probably a mix to hand, I would assume. Oh no, he's just thinking about exactly what he wants to summon here. I think the Rico was the correct decision, but he might just be thinking about it a bit, maybe thinking mix and then adding Rico instead. So he does decide to go for the Rico. Using its effect now to search, but I think I might just go for the Jurassi's effect here to negate it, as he can add back from the graveyard as well. So at this point the DoomZ trap not doing a whole lot, only really stopping KTS, Cool Tune, Synchro, Quick Play in this spot, as he has quite a full graveyard. So I do decide to negate with the Jurassius and then equip the Rico, and just hope my opponent doesn't have any further plays, which it looks like he doesn't, and he passes turn. My opponent just, figuring out really what the DoomZ deck does and trying to play to the best of his ability here. Now the normal summon of the Elara coming down, setting the Yggdrasil from the deck. Yggdrasil targeting the Elara, and then Elara using its effect to XYZ because it has an equipped spell equipped to it, going into the Victorious, and then overlaying the Grafalio on top of that, which will allow me to detach and search a spell trap and then pop a card on the field non-targeting, but my opponent is Ash Bossing. I think this is pretty much lethal on the field already here, so I do change the Theseus to attack mode and then go to the battle phase. Attack with the Grafalio and the Theseus, and now I can use the Jurassius as well to boost the attack to 3500, and that would be lethal. Now we're on to game 2. Kewl will be starting us off here again with a KTS in the draw phase. Just get an additional search here before any potential troll knock birds can come down on his side, so he decides to go straight for the best normal summon of the deck, which is the Kewl. Activating the field spell again and doing an additional normal summon of the Kewl, then using its effect to special summon a Ash Blossom from the deck. Field spell now tribute summoning the Ash Blossom to special or add another Kewl monster, so special summoning the Mix, and now Mix will be using its effect to add the Rotary from deck to hand. The Kewl being able to fish out any potential hand trap that is a tuner from the deck, and then being able to add that back with Remix or back to back in later turns is very strong, especially if you can get out in this matchup Harmonia. Harmonia being a very strong power hand trap against the DoomZ archetype. Just waiting for pretty much the Jurassic to activate its effect to XYZ summon and then chaining that to pop it is just a full swing momentum back in the Kewl player, as the Jurassic is the main interruption and boss monster of the deck. So now resolving the Trackmaker and Rotary, adding the Rico, and now Rotary looking at the hands, seeing a Book of Eclipse, as well as a starter, extender. So one breaker, multiple starters, multiple extenders here. Pretty ideal. Maybe one of those extenders could have been a second breaker to potentially play through any kind of Omni negation as well. Not to mention that the Ash Blossom can actually just negate the Book of Eclipse as well. So he does have quite a few answers for this hand, but it is quite a strong hand even though he can see all the interactions. So on resolution of that, he normal summons the Rico he searched, which will now be using its effect to add probably a Mix or Clip. Oh yes, we're forgetting to resolve the Kewl there as well. He did activate that, so he will top deck the Change and then banish the Terminus. Top decking the Change is a bit detrimental as it is a duplicate, but it is also another DoomZ name, so it's actually allowing the Raiders to use its effect basically whenever I want instead of as the first thing, as I would have to destroy with the current hand the Change I already have, that's the only other target. But adding a second Change means I have a Change as a backup extender if the Raiders does get stopped. Or vice versa, I can use the Change first and then the Raiders afterwards, as I still have a second target, the DoomZ name, to be able to use its effect. So summoning the Visas Synchro here now, which will add the counter trap from deck to hand, which can, as long as there's a Synchro on the field, just negate any spell trap or monster effect, and if there's a Synchro that mentions Visas, it also destroys the card as well. So setting the trap card, the counter trap here, at least one KTS, maybe two KTSs as well, and then passing turn on a remix on top of all that. So quite a bit to play through here. Super Poly would have been more ideal, I believe, at this point, rather than a Book of Eclipse, but still having the Book of Eclipse there is just a threat he has to contend with for the rest of the turn. So just thinking about my sequencing here, as I do have quite a few options on what I want to start with and use as extenders. So as I said now, because I actually got a second change from my opponent, I am allowed to use that as my first type of interaction into this field, which he does respond with the counter trap here, and then on the resolution of that, he'll be using the mix, special summoning the Rico, adding the Ash Blossom he searched pretty much from deck to hand earlier with the Q, and then Rico will be adding the clip from deck to hand to allow him to do another synchro play during the main phase of my turn. So activating the Vidalim here. I think I want to use its effect now to just boost Power Patrons on the field by 5k, which there currently aren't any, but you still can activate it because it boosts for the rest of the turn, and then when it goes to the extra deck, it'll add any Power Patron card from deck to hand. Which I think I have my eyes on the DoomZ Geppetto, the Power Patron Pendulum Scale, but he has decided to Ash Blossom that Vidalim once it goes to the face-up extra deck. Still having the Wolf Eclipse in my hand as well as pretty much a threat this whole time. It does stop him from committing anything to the board that can be dealt with the Book of Eclipse, but here we see on the activation of Raiders, him chaining the Kewl Synchro, and then I'm chaining the Book of Eclipse to flip both monsters on the field face down, just stopping him from being able to synchro with any of the monsters currently on field. And he wouldn't be able to chain the Q either, as whatever he summoned would just get flipped face down too, so from resolution of that, he might be thinking about using Q now. Nope, so he's allowing that to go through, and now using the effect of Raiders, destroying the second change in my hand to special summon. I think at this point I would want Almath. Yes, I'm going for the Amalfi here, which will on summon add a monster from deck to hand, which I think I am 100% going to try and get a Dracia. Yep, adding the Dracia. So at this point, just praying that I can fall back on this Dracia to keep myself in the game as well as break the board that's currently being established, and just pray that he also doesn't have a Harmonia in hand. So my opponent just clarifying what the effects of the cards that I do have are doing. So not even having used my normal summon now, I'm going to use the Medius normal summon, using its effect to special summon or add a Power Patron from deck to hand. Unfortunately, because my opponent is a bit unfamiliar with the deck at this current point, we actually have playtested it quite a bit afterwards after this match, but during this match he just was unsure on when to use these interactions. He's decided to use his Harmonia now, which is quite early, as there's nothing really threatening him per se, and just holding this Harmonia is always correct for a potential Dracia effect to XYZ once that hits the field. But him using it now, popping the Almath on the field, which has pretty much done nothing really, as I don't think I was even going to use that body for anything super threatening. Maybe just commit into a hard made Victorious to go for the rank 4 into rank 5 plays, but him removing that and then revealing them along and sending them along, I then changed what I was going to do with special summoning the Power Patron DoomZ, so I decided to add the Geppetto to my hand instead. Now activating the Geppetto, which was probably just a prime target for the Dracia, as I don't think I have another DoomZ monster that I really want to destroy in my hand to use its actual removal effect, so it's probably just there just as fodder to be destroyed to summon Dracia. I think my opponent was thinking about using the clip there potentially, which I believe he has gone through, so he's using the Rico and the clip now, using Rico to destroy the Geppetto, and then the clip will now activate to banish a extra deck card randomly, so he does banish the Grafalio, which I do play 2 copies of, so that's not too detrimental there. And now Geppetto, because it was sent to the extra deck face up, will now be adding a DoomZ or Power Patron spell trap. These Power Patron cards just trade so well into any kind of removal interactions. It's kind of insane how they all just add one thing after another and lead to into each other. It's just very strong, especially in the DoomZ archetype specifically. Geppetto is just an insane card. So adding the field spell here, which will allow me to reveal Jupiter in my extra deck, which can then special summon or add a monster from the deck that mentions it. So I'll probably end up banishing, and you have to banish a card face down as well from your hand on resolution of that. So I think I'm thinking about summoning the Power Patron DoomZ from the deck. But unfortunately he is stopping that now with the RS banishing the Rodu from the graveyard, targeting the field spell. Drastia now destroying the Raiders, as that's the only valid target on my field, being the only DoomZ card face up, and then equipping the Doomdog from the deck. My opponent just seeing if there's some sort of OTK line, he's just querying that I'll be able to kill him now with the Drastia, but no. The Drastia does do a lot of damage into an open field, over 5k with itself, and then being able to XYZ in the battle phase into the Drastias. But with two monsters face down and 2 other monsters to block, there's just no potential OTK here, even if he has a clear board anyway. So proceeding to the battle phase now, just checking the stats on the monsters that I put face down earlier with the Book of Eclipse. I do want to clear both of those, as I don't want to give my opponent any extra draws, as the Book of Eclipse will flip up those monsters in the end phase and he gets to draw a card for each one. So I do want to stop that as much as possible as well, since my opponent actually has no cards in hand currently. So I do just want to try and get into a grind game with him at this point and rely on the Drastias on the field. XYZ summoning in the battle phase, equipping the RS, and then hitting over the Visor Synchro. Unfortunately not being able to clear all his monsters, which isn't the greatest, as the field spell can tribute any tuner on his side of the field and then get him pretty much back into engine. So if I could have cleared all his monsters, it would have been a lot better. But unfortunately that wouldn't be the case, so me actually electing to use the Drastias now in the main phase 2 as material for the Grafalios. It can go on top of any DoomZ XYZ, and then use the Interfect now, detaching to add a spell trap, and then I get to destroy another card on the field. Destroying the KTS. Now activating the A Drastia, which was the equip spell I added off the Grafalio. Equipping to the Grafalio, then use the Interfect to destroy the Grafalio to special summon the Drastia back from the graveyard. Grafalio will now destroy, because it was destroyed, special summon one from the deck or graveyard, which I haven't gone through the Alara yet, so special summoning that, and then that effect will set a DoomZ spell trap. Maybe going for the trap card here, no, going for the Raiders just for follow-up, as I currently don't have any follow-up I believe myself, so I decided to set the Raiders and then activate the Raiders and then use the A Drastia in the graveyard, equipping to the Drastia on the field, turning on its XYZ effect for my opponent's turn. And now in the draw phase of my opponent's turn, I use the Drastia now to XYZ, but he top decked the Forbidden Crown. So negating my Drastia here, unable to resolve its effect, but also just pretty much just giving it ultimate protection as well, so it will last till my turn. But just not being able to use it for interruption here does hurt quite a lot. He's now using the field spell, tributing the Harmonia, special summoning the Mix, and Mix will be adding the Q. Normal summoning the Q now to special summon from the graveyard or deck. Deciding to go for the graveyard, special summoning the RS from the grave. So counting all the tuners now between us to see what attack the RS is on. I believe it's on 59. at the moment, but my field spot does reduce it as well by a couple hundred for each banished card in both players' banished zones. It isn't quite at full strength, but not enough to kill me by attacking into the Drastia anyway. So he's using the materials now that he used to make the remix to pop the Alara, and then Alara will be using its effects to set a spell trap, and then the Kewl will also be looking at the top 2 and banishing a card. So not getting to see what I'm drawing, but still potentially going for a 1-of there, so still worth it to resolve the Q if he hits something of value there. So I set the DoomZ change, which is a starter and decent follow-up for the next turn. Then him attacking into my Drastia now with the RS, getting quite a bit of damage in, but not being able to destroy it from the crown protecting it. Just something to note as well as the equip spell should actually be on the field still, as unaffected monsters don't lose equip spells that are equipped to them. Just a niche interaction there and ruling for anyone that might come up. Me top decking a super poly there, just being a crazy top deck, so getting rid of both monsters, discarding a card and summoning the Theseus. And then me activating the change now to destroy the DoomZ Power Patron from the deck, which will now add any DoomZ card. So I'm just trying to assemble lethal here. My opponent just going through some of the steps with me as he is unfamiliar with the deck at this point as well. So just asking a few clarifying questions. But yeah, he does end up conceding the game there, as I do have lethal on field, or definitely a way to get to it. So I hope you enjoyed this match with a showcase between the #1 deck in the format, well, what is assumed to be the #1 deck and most likely will be in Kewl, and then one of the other top decks and contenders of the format as well, being DoomZ. I'm not too sure where DoomZ sits right now. It does have its flaws, but has a lot of strength as well. Probably in the top 4 to 5 decks for sure, but the representations at the moment for the deck are a bit lower than I assumed it would be, as it has been a few weekends now with some regionals and nationals, but there's been quite a few tops with it as well, so we may see a lot more of it in the future, especially if Kewl does get hit on a future list, as it will be the #1 deck for quite a while, no doubt. Please leave us a like and a comment down below if you enjoyed these post-blazing matches. Going to bring a lot more of them in the future, and subscribe to see those when they release. Thanks for watching. Peace.